was so much fun to create. We're just so glad that you're here on this journey with us. Mom, give an idea, a little bit of an idea of just where exactly this book started in your mind.
Well, it started years ago when you were just a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
That
was a while ago.
Oh, yeah, I didn't say so. No, it was just yesterday.
Yeah.
We were on the island of Hawaii in the North Shore, and we had rented a little house. And that night, I don't know if you recall this, but there was a storm of momentous proportion, and we thought we were going to wash right off into the ocean, but we weren't. And the next morning, it was so gloriously beautiful. And I got up early, which was unusual, and I walked out into this kind of unkempt garden that these people had. And I thought, oh, there's a pathway, I've got to follow it. I've got to find out what's down that pathway. So I started in, and all of a sudden I stopped, because right there in front of me was this huge spider's web. And I call it a cobweb because that lent itself to my book.
Right.
And on this spider's web was a beautiful bright yellow spider, but she was off to the side.
Okay.
But that isn't what astonished me. I just stood there mesmerized, because all over the spider's web were probably 100 at least little drops of water that each had a full rainbow in it.
Oh my goodness.
I couldn't believe it. Nobody would believe me if they didn't see it for themselves.
Right.
It was perfect. So I thought, oh, if an insect came into that spider's web, it's dead meat. But what if it landed on one of the rainbows? Could it bounce off to freedom? And then my mind went back to the mainland, where I was counseling a number of people. I think you were too. And I thought, if I could get those people to see the rainbows in their cobwebs, couldn't they bounce off into victory and solve their problems more? And so I went home and I wrote the book. And it was all with my voice.
Right.
And then what happened some years later? You want to take it from there?
Well, yes. You and I had been working on some ideas to bless people, encourage people in the frustrations that they feel in life, and when they encounter those difficult desert, you can call them cobwebs or deserts or storm situations. And you and I had been working on ideas to be able to give people hope in the midst of all of these really frustrating trials. And it suddenly dawned on us, wow, not only do the stories in our life, could those stories be used to encourage people, but I'll bet there are a lot of people out there that also have experiences that they've gone through. And if we were able to put those experiences into short story form, people would be able to read those and say, oh, I'm not out of my storm yet. I'm not out of my rainbow yet. But you know what? If they could do it, I can do it.
That's right.
If they had hope, I can have hope.
That is correct. And when we put the word out to just a few people,
right,
and they told people,
right,
and the stories started coming in, and all of a sudden we were swamped with stories.
Yeah, and we have stories all the way from hairdressers to college presidents. We have people from here in the United States and India and around the world that have sent us stories that are absolutely, they're gripping. They're just, you read these stories and you get goosebumps up and down your arm, because you go, oh my goodness, that is so incredible.
And some of them are funny.
Yes.
Some of them are very amusing, but some of them are very tragic, and some of them have cobwebs in their lives that will never go away.
Right.
But
they've learned to use the cobweb.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so they have victory.
Yeah, and have hope in the midst of this long-term cobweb.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
So the rainbows are the hope
right,
in the cobweb of difficulty,
right,
of anything that happens in a person's life. And of course, they can be little cobwebs or they can be great big cobwebs.
Yeah.
But the rainbows are the hope that's there.
Exactly right.
And then if they keep their eyes and minds fixed on that hope, they can come out to victory.
Oh, it changes your life.
It does.
To going through a situation where all you're focusing in and all you're focusing in on is the trouble and the frustration. It just keeps you stuck to that cobweb.
That's right.
But the minute that you raise your eyes and go, wait a minute, there is a solution here. There is something that I never saw before. God is working in this. He can change this circumstance in my life. All of a sudden, you become detached from that cobweb, and you are able to turn around and go, oh my goodness, this can be used for good in my life, even though I'm not sure exactly how it can be used right now.
Yeah, and what amazed me with these stories that have come in is they're all different, and there's not one
Right.
that is the same.
No, it's just radically different.
Like, for instance, we have one about a sheepdog.
Right.
And think of some more.
We have one about, it's one of the most marvelous, you'll love this one. It's one about a lady who gave up her ring. And years later, and excuse me, it wasn't a ring, it was her necklace,
Yeah.
3-strand necklace,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Pearl necklace.
Oh, it was so incredible, the 3-strand necklace. And later on, she found out just exactly why she gave it up and the blessing that it was to the lady that she gave the necklace to. It was just, it's just phenomenal. Everybody loves that
And
story.
we've got a story where there was a man who was walking in the rain. He was a high profile in juggling.
Right.
And he was doing a big show in Las Vegas.
Yes.
He was hit by a truck in the dark. And then, after going through all this pain and everything, he was hit by a truck again.
Yes.
And that story is incredible.
And how he has used this, even though he will never be the juggler that he was, he's now taken his life and turned it around. In fact, he just sent me his 3rd book that he's written.
Whoa.
Incredible. Yeah, anyway. So you will love these stories. If you just read, even if your life is not struggling, even if you're not frustrated, you'll just read the book because these stories are just a delight. They're fun to read. And if you're at a place in your life where you're struggling and you're stuck, or you can't see up, or you can't see out, or it's dark, or whatever it happens to be, I guarantee you'll read these stories and you'll say, God can work through these circumstances in my life too.